Former England footballer Trevor Sinclair has been axed as a match of the day pundit after calling a policeman a white C before urinating in a police car after he was caught drink driving. The 44-year-old asked the officer if he was being arrested because he was black and accused the police of racism. Blackpool Magistrates Court heard today Sinclair, who has represented anti-racism campaign Show Racism the Red Card, continued being racist after he was taken to the cells at Blackpool Police Station. A BBC spokesperson said, "He is a freelance broadcaster.We currently have no scheduled plans to use him on our programs." The former footballer of Lytham, Lancashire, pleaded guilty to drink driving and a racially aggravated public order offence today and was given 150 hours community service and a 20-month drink drive ban. Nick Freeman, representing Sinclair, said the catalyst for his behaviour that night was being subjected to racism in front of his family while out having a meal hours earlier. Mr. Freeman said a woman had approached the father of four, patted him on the head, and called him a little chocolate man. Jim Mowbray, prosecuting, told the court that, at around 8:45 p.m. on November 12 last year, police were alerted to an incident at Sinclair's home address, but were told he had left in his Tesla car and he may have been drinking. Patrols were out looking for him and found his car stopped in the middle of the road in Clifton Drive, Blackpool, after Sinclair had been in collision with a woman who had stepped into his path after getting out of a taxi. In a statement read to the court, PC Gareth Evans said, "I asked Mr. Sinclair what had happened. It appeared to me he was drunk, unsteady on his feet and his eyes were glazed." Sinclair was given a roadside breath test and was found to be twice over the drink drive limit, giving a reading of 72 micrograms of alcohol per 100 milliliters of breath, with the limit being 35 milligrams. He was cautioned and arrested and a secure van requested to the roadside, but then his behavior changed, the court heard. PC Evans' statement continued, "He started asking if it was because he was black.Black people are underrepresented in the police. He started getting more confrontational, he was getting more aggressive.I did not like the direction the conversation was going and he was accusing me of being racist. He began to become more agitated and aggressive. During the search, the officer discovered Sinclair's trousers were wet and that he had urinated while sitting in the police car. And when Sinclair was put in the back of the police van, he called the officer a white C as the van door slammed." Sinclair made further racist comments while in the back of the van and continued to be obnoxious, aggressive and racist while being booked in. PC Evans' statement concluded, "Sinclair's behavior following his arrest was awful. I'm not a racist. His behavior was extremely racist. After Sinclair's guilty pleas, the prosecution dropped other charges including assault on a police officer, failing to provide a specimen and criminal damage. Prosecutor Mr. Mowbray said a woman whom Sinclair appeared to have knocked over with his car suffered only minor injuries, might have been drinking herself, and may have stepped into his path, so he was not prosecuted for any offense over that matter." The court heard that Sinclair did a lot of voluntary work with youngsters interested in football and was involved in anti-racism charity Show Racism the Red Card. Nick Freeman, representing Sinclair, said, "He's totally appalled at his behavior. He's embarrassed, genuinely contrite and first and foremost would like to apologize to PC Evans." He accepts police were not racist towards him. He said Sinclair had been out for a meal with his wife and family, and then to a bar. Mr. Freeman continued, whilst in that bar, a lady came over to the defendant and rubbed his head and called him a little chocolate man. That appears to be the catalyst. The court heard that Sinclair went home but was angry and decided to go out in his car. After his arrest, he was placed in the police car for 30 minutes where he apparently urinated, the court heard. Mr. Freeman continued, unfortunately he needed to use the bathroom and was unable to do so. Sinclair was shocked that he was handcuffed as he was put in the police van, and then gave a running commentary of his perception of racism in this country, Mr. Freeman said. His lawyer added, he actually abhors racism, and he's been a member of a charity. It's called Show Racism the Red Card. The purpose of the charity is to eradicate racism, not just in football. The terrible paradox is that increases the sense of frustration, embarrassment, and contrition. The real Mr. Sinclair is someone who abhors racism. His behavior on this particular evening may well have a terminal effect on his TV career. Sinclair, who is a winger, played for Manchester City, West Ham and England during his 16-year career.